everyone, and happy Monday. It's good to see you. We've made it to another week. I hope you guys are having a good start to the week. The weekend was good. Today we're going to be talking to Spike, and Spike Feresten, who I have known since like 2015. We'll wait to see when and if he pops on here. Anybody have any? Hi, everyone. Eric and CD and MBZ fan for life. I've seen you before. Manny, hey guys, thank you for joining. Did y'all have a good weekend? I'm just waiting for Spike to join. Anybody have anything exciting happen this weekend? Any wise guy, Mark, go blue, Mike. What happened on this end? I learned. I'm learning surfing. So if anybody has anything that they learned this weekend, I'm learning how to surf. So that's kind of exciting. See if Spike's joined yet. My sister-in-law has joined. Hi, Shan. Hi, Mark. So I'm learning how to surf. I made bomb banana bread in case anybody needs a new recipe. I see Spike has joined. That was exciting. Hi. We'll see if this works. And it is connect. Oh, hi.
Here we are.
Oh, it's been so long since seeing your face. How are you?
I know. I'm going to turn you up a little bit. Forgive my hand. I'm well.
Good.
Look at you. You look great. Wow.
Thank you. Quarantine life. It's like the roots are coming in, the eyebrows are all.
You would never know it.
It is one of those things where it's this quarantine life and the look of it is a real thing, you know?
I love it. I
How's
absolutely love it. Well, as you can see, my hair is my hair.
I like it.
The amount of money we're all saving on this, like, all day long, these instincts, like, you know what I need to get? Well, wait a minute. No, I don't. I'm not going to see anybody for a year. No haircuts. I don't have to wear socks and shoes.
Literally, I'm wearing slippers. Like, what a life we live now.
It's fabulous. And right now I'm upstairs in my office, which is above the garage. And over there I have a computer. And I can do all my pitches right over there.
Yeah.
And then I can write over there. And then the kids are downstairs crying about school, so I can go down and help out with that. It's really not so bad. It's just that pesky death part that's got us all spooked.
Before each of these, I try to just say, hey, like, thanks to those in the front line, thanks to those who are like, you and I are in the comfort of our homes. Those others who are not, whether they're doing the grocery runs or they're helping in the hospitals, or I don't even know all the things that people are doing right now when they're out and about, because I haven't been out. I don't know about you, but like, I've kind of stayed put. So big thanks to them. Do you have anything to say to them?
Oh yeah, well, my mom's a nurse, so she's been on the front lines of stuff like this for a long time. She's retired now. And, I've seen the heroics on a daily basis. My grandfather was a doctor, I just like that, the people, all these people who are, risking their lives just to sell us donuts and bagels. No, nothing but admiration and praise for them. They're really doing, at least here in LA, they're doing a fantastic job.
Yeah.
And I think the only thing, we were talking about it on my podcast this morning. The only thing we're kind of combating is, in the car hobby, you can go out and drive. You can go out and drive and get some food, but there's starting to be a little too much gathering of people to talk about the cars again. That's made us a little uncomfortable.
It was literally here in Newport yesterday. It was like the 4th of July.
Right. I saw the pictures on TMZ.
Nothing like breaking news on TMZ. Yeah, it was the 4th of July. It was people, even on my run, like a solo run, I smell barbecues and you're just sitting here like, okay, where's the significance of, there's a fine line between it being our backyard, right?
Right.
You get that. Like, this is where people go at the beach, is like where people go, in order to get out of their house, because we don't have grass here.
Right. No, I think in a lot of ways, obviously, we have it a lot easier than folks. But I was talking to my co-host this morning about the burnout factor coupled with the nice weather.
Yeah.
And how I found myself getting a little sloppy with, the mask and everything else, going, well, how can anything be wrong? Look out the window. How can it be wrong?
Right.
And you look at LA having its worst day ever a few days ago, and you go, well, this is not the time to let up, Spike. Don't be an idiot,
Right.
And, I'm the guy in my house who goes out and gets the groceries. I'm letting everybody else stay home. So
you're the one who picks up the donuts for the family. Got it. The bagels, the donuts.
Bagels, donuts, everything else. Well, my wife has a really cool, again, on the positive things that have come of this, she has a little cooking day with her relatives in Florida and everywhere else. And so Fridays they have this big Zoom, and I have this scavenger hunt grocery list that I have to go on. So I don't forget to get sheets of puff pastry. I'm like, what? I'm like, I am like counting the seconds till I can get out of this grocery store. She's like, don't leave until you get this, this, and this. But then it's this really wonderful Friday afternoon with her and the kids and the cousins and all of us, and baking and fun, and you know, it's not so bad.
Yeah. No, minus you. What do you drink with? Cheers. Sorry.
I'm in the middle of a work day. What do you have?
Yeah, I'm working. I actually usually am on the coffee train. Today I thought this morning I went full throttle on my coffee.
Nice.
So I had to switch to tea. Otherwise, this is very hard right now.
This is the Keurig Donut Shop.
I
get it down there.
Down the way and around the corner.
Right down the stairs.
Okay, so like, has it really hit LA yet? Yes, it has. Thank you to everyone who's joining us as well. I saw Brazil. I saw, I think, Italy already. So thank you guys. But you got to mention the car culture. How do you think this is shifting the car culture? Because I think, like, you know, being so entrenched in it, whether it be the gatherings, like, you know, cars and coffees, or what do you think will come of this time?
Well, I mean, that's a very broad question. I mean, the car sales culture, I think, is kind of dead right now.
Yeah.
You know, I had a lease come up on my daily driver, and I was talking to the guy who leases my cars, and I said, well, what? Well, I don't need a daily driver anymore.
Right.
My daily is here, so just take the truck, and I'll let you know when we're out of this. So I worry about manufacturers and car dealers. Culture-wise, this has been. You know, cars have been, if you're a car person, you are able to get in your car and take a drive to chill out. I try to pair that with an essential task, either, picking up food and bringing it back, so I'm not just getting out on the road. Yeah. So, and it's really been, you know, we had Jerry Seinfeld on last week, and we were talking about the perfect quarantine car to get out in. And it's, for us, it's a manual drive, open air, old car, right?
Does that matter what? At that point, does it matter what kind of manual open air car?
No, no. I think when you get out of the house now in a car and you're just out of your house, you feel great. For me though, it's been this 70s Porsche Targa. Yeah. That's like light blue metallic, and I can take the top off, and for like 20 minutes of the drive, nothing's wrong. I forget what we're all going through, and you get that moment of relief I think we're all seeking.
An interesting point. I hadn't really thought about it. The car culture we do have the opportunity to get out and drive. The other day, I just literally went in my car too, and I just drove down the PCH because I just was like, I needed to drive it first and foremost because they've been sitting for 4 weeks. But on the other end of the spectrum, like, I forgot how to drive. It was so strange in that capacity. You know what I mean? And you've seen me drive. So
yes.
In theory,
no, you're good. You're not like some of the other people that were on the show.
But I think that's an interesting point that you make, that we actually have that ability, where there's other people who, like, you know, their deals were yoga or rock climbing, or, you know, things that, like, they don't get their fix right now.
Yeah, you can't. The car, I mean, that's all. It's been to this saving grace. This hobby of ours doesn't look so stupid right now. Yeah. It's kind of great, you know.
Yeah, that is one thing you can justify the spends on the car.
Yeah, for sure. But it's really any car. And again, I don't know about being out in the open air or not. I'm not a scientist, but I like the open air. If I get some virus in my eye, all right. I don't think that's going to happen. But
you know what? As it turns out, we don't know much of anything until we find it out with all of this.
Right.
It's like, who knew all these things that were existing before we actually knew? Okay, someone just asked, what's a good first car for my daughter? That's Jim Bishop. Hey, buddy, I feel like those questions you get asked all the time, don't you?
I was going to say, wait, for your daughter? Or are you taking your
surprise? That would be the greatest way.
Good Lord, we haven't spoken in a long time. Well, you know, good cars are the entry-level big manufacturer cars that have safety tech. You know, if you take one thing away from this conversation, it's the best safety tech. And I would look at crash tests and ratings, and I would make my decision kind of based on that, and then wrap the car and the price around it. You know?
That's interesting. Yeah, because I think I don't know. I think my dad, when I was looking at the car that I leased, which by the way, you mentioned like the daily driver. I know I upped my mileage. So I was like, if I have to go to LA, I'm now regretting the X amount of thousands of extra miles that I have on that leased vehicle now.
Right, right. Yes.
Because you're right. We're not actually driving that in fact. But his point was to me, of course, was, you know, the safety. I'm in my 30s and he's still like, make sure you get all the safety and make sure, you know, I feel like.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's, I don't really crash. I haven't crashed in cars in decades, but when I first was learning how to drive, that's when I crashed. That's, you know, that's where you want all that stuff and all that metal wrapped around you. So, you know, Audi A3s, you know, it depends. Every year has a different safety rating for a car. Just do your homework and get something, you know, current with the best safety tech you can afford.
Yeah. I know cars are your thing, but someone said cool Hendrix photo behind you. Are you like a music guy?
Oh, yeah, look at that. Wow.
What?
I'm just adjusting your shot. Well, I went to music school. I went to Berklee College of Music.
No,
oh, yeah, look at that.
Amazing.
Those are Jim Marshall was a friend of mine, the photographer who took these pictures.
What?
Yeah, that's Hendrix at Monterey with Brian Jones from the Rolling Stones, and that's Steve McQueen and Miles Davis right there.
That's wild.
Yeah, he's not with us anymore. None of those guys, and Jim Marshall, but he was famous rock photographer with a lot of access. He took another really cool picture over here. Here, check this one out. See if you can see that. Look at that.
Oh, wow.
Johnny Cash, one for the warden. Jimmy said, "Hey, Johnny, give me a photograph for the warden." And he said, "Fuck the warden." And there it is. Iconic photograph. But he had a lot of access. What's that?
Those are original, huh?
Yeah, they're from the original negatives, but Jim would come down here once a month, maybe before he died. I would say once a month. He'd go to the Mondrian Hotel in the Sunset and you call up a few people and you go over with a little money and tell him what you want. And he would, you know, print it up and send it to you. And you'd get these great shots. So for me, I mean, I idolized Hendrix growing up.
Yeah.
You know, that's who I wanted to be, and that's what sent me off to music school. I don't know how I went into comedy after that.
Welcome to this.
But you know, for me, it was all about that guy's guitar playing. So, you know, just getting a chance to meet someone who had met Jimi Hendrix was a really big deal to me.
What was it about him that, like, you aspired to be like? Well, I mean, you could have had your choice of all of the artists, right? Like, not from a photography, from a Hendrix standpoint. Like, what was it about him that was so outstanding to you?
Well, probably the Band of Gypsies album, them taking acid for some reason. I was really obsessed with Woodstock in the 60s.
I grew up in Massachusetts. You're not alone.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was really my dad's generation, but, you know, I don't know. There was something about that Woodstock concert and Hendrix's Star Spangled Banner that blew my mind. And as a guitarist, I just thought I couldn't be more different than this guy. But that's who I want to be. I want to play like that. I want to play this type of music. And I want to have that kind of aura and that cool around me. I don't know that I would make that same decision today, though.
Would you deter other people in your world from doing music in that way? Or would you still, because I always wanted to be a country singer. And I'm not country in any way, shape, or form, nor can I sing. But to me, like, that was, like, what I wanted to be for so long. Actually, take it back. I wanted to be a mom who made macaroni and cheese and peaches as a young person, moving into a country singer, now into TV and cars. I'm not entirely sure of how that all. But now, would you deter anybody going into music? Or would you still say, like, from that angle of the fame and the glory of what music kind of is?
I missed the question. And what?
Would you deter, like, any of the kiddos or anybody else in your world? Would you say that's still a good route to go from a musical side?
Music?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Berkeley's a great school now. I'm surprised. I didn't think it was a big deal, but, you know, I have kids in the neighborhood here who get, you know, accepted there, and they're like that. It's become like one of the top entertainment schools in America, you know, in the top 3 or 5, which surprised me. It didn't feel like that there. It felt like I was in a bad version of Fame, the movie. Just a bunch of dudes with guitars looking at each other going, "Where are the girls?" Not here, but
ratio's a little off.
But I have a good friend who owns a recording studio here called The Village on the west side here. And, you know, aside from everybody who is anybody recording there right now, it's been the Rolling Stones. Elton John is in residence there occasionally. It's still a thriving business. I love music. I really love it. But I realized at a certain point I love to enjoy it more than I actually enjoyed being part of the business. I like to listen to it. And the more I learned about it, the less I was enjoying it.
Interesting. Was it just guitar? Were you ever?
No, I was writing. I was
Writing
music
too?
scoring and recording engineer and all of that stuff.
Yeah. I played the saxophone for a brief moment in my life, and my band teacher told me to go to choir. So I also was terrible at choir because my voice was like it was like the lowest voice of any of the females. It just nothing suited me in the musical industry, but I really love music. I think it's dynamic. I think it's so powerful.
You still have your saxophone?
I don't. That went away very quickly with my mom and dad's very much TLC. They gave it so much love as it went out the door. They were so stoked when that thing was gone.
Yeah, I can see that. They supported it,
but they hated it.
I just talked my son out of playing saxophone. I just said, it's not going to look right. It's not going to look right. You and that thing, it's just forget it. You don't
you and that thing. So what did he end up? Where did he end up?
Trumpet. I was a trumpet player growing up. I said, you'll like this. He loves it. It's great. The other one's a guitar player. He's a little a California rocker kid. I'm not sure he's mine, but and he looks great with a guitar. So they're both
that makes sense.
doing that.
The saxophone, keep that at bay. That's fine.
Yeah, I wish they had played piano. Really, it's all about piano, but they wouldn't stick with it, and I didn't want to force them to do it. But
are they into cars at all?
Yeah, way into cars right now.
Are they?
It kind of went away for a while, and now they're because of YouTube.
Yeah.
They know so much more than I know about cars, and they're just jibber jabbering all the time about, Dad, do you know what you can do with the GT2 RS? You can do blah 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 blah. I'm like, all right, guys. I know I like cars, but entertainment's my business. I don't need it 24/7, guys. It's boring.
Yeah. Understand.
Yeah.
I am curious though, and that's one of the things that we talk about, like with the Meekum stuff and the classic cars, or how those younger demos are going to be attached to classic cars. And it sounds like it's the cool cars that they're into. They're not quite into the whole like classic. How do we keep the classic car world alive? I'm not entirely sure, because I think YouTube does a good job of showing off cool cars.
Yeah, I think that's a fake worry. I hear that a lot.
You think so?
Yeah.
Good. Okay.
Well, we just had, I have a lot of stuff that comes through my garage, press cars and whatnot, and we just had this car that we've been having worked on called the Zagato 356 Coupe from 1959. So it's a gentleman's race car from 1959.
Yeah.
Kind of looks like a speedster, an insane engine from John Wilhoit. It's an amazing thing. I kept hyping it to them. They were like, oh, God, please. Let's get in the GT2 RS, or why can't we get a Koenigsegg? And I'm like, that's a $5 million car.
Yeah, minor details.
It's not happening.
Pocket change.
But the car was delivered Friday, and now they're all about it. They've taken a ride, and it's like, this is amazing, and they understand what it is. And, I see a lot of kids in their 20s and even in their teens out in Malibu with, really into cool older stuff, old Volkswagen Beetles and hot rodding stuff. And, I see that hobby is alive and well. And the market for certain cars, I think, will shift and change. But for me, it's never been about money. It's just been about what do you like to get into and drive on a Saturday. So, as long as I don't know, I think the car hobby's never been bigger. I just don't know that it's going to be traditionally what the Pebble Beach crowd might think is valuable versus just what we can all afford.
How many car alarms have been set off with the Zagato?
Only one or two. Yeah, I'm a little worried that might have an illegal exhaust on there. But
worry about that later. Apologize later on that one.
Yeah, we're gonna try to register it first. Get that done. But it's a really special little car. It's making people smile, and and we're loving driving it. And we're so we're just happy it all worked out. It's really been a thrill, that process.
Yeah, you found some really special cars too. I think, obviously from the show and what you do, but also I always get excited about, do you always hang out at Malibu Farm? Is that
No.
Is that where you see a lot of cars, really? Or is that just a general tag?
Oh, yeah. No. There are a lot of cars there all the time. But there's this impression that either I own that place or that's the only place I ever go.
Yeah.
But really, that's Instagram. That's the thing right here. Yeah, it's like this. Like on a Saturday, usually I'm running kids around to karate and baseball and other stuff, and I make breakfast on the weekends. And then before I do a little writing, I have like an hour to go get coffee. So I call Zuckerman up or whoever's in town, and we drive from Brentwood or the West Side to Malibu, have a beautiful drive on the PCH, a cup of coffee, a little chat, snap, 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 a couple of pictures, might even save some for the next 5 days, and then take off. But when I do that, when I post pictures from other days, and it looks like I'm there all the time.
I just wondered if yeah, maybe you own it. That's a good guess, but I guess.
Yeah, but that said, now people have kind of caught on to it. I'm sure there were car people there before, but it's become this like little gathering space for gearheads, and people drive in the canyons and stop there at Bill's to have something to eat, and it's a nice time. You sit on the porch, you look at the cars that drive by, and it's kind of like a pop-up car show on the weekends.
Yeah,
and it's great.
I can see how that would be the case.
And very down to earth and very quiet. And it doesn't, nobody's doing, burnouts and stuff in the parking lot.
Those are cars you don't want to do necessarily burnouts into, right? At that point, I mean, it would be fascinating to see. Do you think so? You could do a little.
In which car?
Any of them, any of those. Like, there's some bomb cars that come across there.
Yeah.
I feel like doing burnouts in some of those, I would be like, they're prized possessions.
No, there's an element of the car crowd that is that Fast and Furious element that gets arrested a lot for legal street racing. Those guys occasionally show up. They were there yesterday, as a matter of fact. Quick exits and entrances trying to show up. And nobody really likes them. But for the most part, people behave. And it's, beautiful California roads, to drive on. And right now.
How often are you on the Holland?
What's that?
How often are you on the Holland Drive?
I haven't gone up because the police have asked not to go up unless you need to go up. So I haven't been up there.
Rides have been canceled.
Yeah, they're up there. I know they have radar traps up there, but they have asked the drivers to stay out of there. So I've been respecting that.
It's such a weird. What a unique time in our life. It's so hard. It's like we were talking the other day. There's so many rules and yet no rules at the same time. It is like there's so many rules of what we can do as like patrons, as around here, like civilians, and then it's like at the same time there's so many not rules that people can do because it's
right.
It's weird. It's so unique in that way. I don't know if you're experiencing that, but here in Newport, that's kind of how it's been feeling.
Oh yeah, we're experiencing. It's crazy. It's I find that you can tell which of your neighbors and what kind of news they watch based on how many play dates they request. You're like, hey, play date? What? Like, it's over, right? You got to change the channel to that other news because the other news is going to. That's not an conservative entertainment network. This is real news, and you can't have the play date.
I just had that conversation this morning with one of my best friends, and we were talking. It was literally like the same thing. I'm like, you should just maybe change the channel. Like,
yes, you just got it for a second. No play dates, no barbecues, no play dates. Weirdly, podcasts or this type of stuff is considered essential. I don't get that. I don't know how we are, but we are allowed to kind of do our job.
Yeah, isn't that unique too? Okay, so yeah, tell me about that. Where are you in your work life? I know that people. Okay, side note. I still, at Mecoms, get talked about, like Car Matchmaker, that one particular episode, obviously your show across the board, people love that show.
It was a great show. It was so much fun. It's the only time I've ever had a hit show where the network was canceled and not the show.
Is there a comeback with it? A chance?
NBC is holding on to it right now, so I can't take it away from them. That's the better way of putting it. And we had offers to take it to other networks right after it went off the air, but NBC, there was somebody controlling the library. The Netflixes of the world wanted the library to come along with it, and they didn't. And I just moved on to other stuff. So, I have a production company now. We have a show on Disney Plus called Shop Class. I'm kind of in the, trying to keep that thing going. But
can you take me through that? Because before Shop Class came out, this is no joke. I didn't know that you were behind it until I actually saw a post about it. And I kind of come up with a creative concept a little bit different. I'm not pitch shows the way you have. Actually, I should pick your brain on that, on how that happens. But I was thinking, something like a shop class would be so cool to kind of dive into, again, from the angle of the youth and like bringing that passion alive. And, how do you generate that? And then literally like a couple of days later, I saw shop class. I was like, what?
Oh my God. You're not going to sue me, are you?
I'm not. I'm glad for you. Kids are learning. This is good.
That's a good idea. No, a lot of time good ideas are in the air. And this one came from Richard Rollins from Fast and Loud. And we were working on something else with him. And he said, I've always wanted to do a shop class competition. Yeah. And I was like, what a great idea. Yeah. And, and he had the 1 or 2 line pitch of just why everything is built in China. Why aren't we teaching people to respect the people who know how to work with their hands here in the United States? And John and I, my business partner, were like, fantastic. Yeah. And, we, Hangar 56, my company and everybody there, we started putting together the format and working with Richard there. And it was, and his manager, Entreneg, and it was great. And we brought it into Disney, and it's one of those few times where they went, we're not even going to buy it for development, we're going to take it right to series, and they ordered 8 episodes. So
congratulations.
And we had a great, thank you. We had a great time making it, and now we're talking about season 2. And this afternoon, I'll be rewriting a game show pitch.
All right.
I will be rewriting a half-hour comedy pitch in the vein of Parks and Rec and The Office this afternoon.
So good.
And then I have to work on, there's one other funky one I forgot. It was, God, I don't even remember. I'll remember what it is. But I've got 3 things to kind of get done and write this afternoon. They're all wildly different. Wildly different.
Awesome.
So
yeah, I'd love to pick your brain on some of that, because I did have a meeting. I reached out to somebody that I knew was in pitching, like show pitching, back a couple of months ago, just to understand the mechanics of it. I think I would say I'm more of an idea person, and I don't know how to take the idea into concept as well as one might. And so, yeah, I think it's super fascinating how one goes from idea to the writing to pitch to all those steps.
Well, I mean, it's really just pitching a person like me. You want to pitch a production company. If they like the idea, they'll develop it out with you and develop out the format and figure out how to sell it.
But from your angle, how did you go from writing music into writing shows? Well, you were always a writer, right? Obviously Seinfeld and everything else involved with that.
It was just my love of David Letterman. When I saw his interns on TV, I just wanted to be one of them. It was that simple.
Wait, seriously?
Yeah.
Were you ever an intern with him?
Yes.
What?
That's how it all began.
Oh, tell me more.
But I was tending bar to put myself through college in Boston. And all I knew was I liked David Letterman and I wanted to be an intern on his show. And one day, this woman named Harriet came in, a new hostess, just moved from New York, and she was wearing the yellow Letterman jacket. It said late night on the back. That used to be in the little bumpers to commercial. And I said, where did you get that? She goes, my ex-boyfriend gave it to me. And I was like, are you still talking to him? Because
is this a connection that we can make?
She goes, what? And I go, I know I haven't even asked your name yet, but I would love to be an intern on that show. And she goes, well, he's still in love with me, and I'm sure he would do me that favor.
Oh, go Harriet.
What's your name? I go, my name's Spike. She goes, fantastic. I'll tell him Spike wants an internship. And no lie, that's how it all began. And I got an internship as a gopher pretty much for Saturday Night Live and for Letterman. And how
many coffees do you think in total did you get?
Bud Talls and McDonald's food was what I was getting. There were no coffees. It was Bud Talls and McDonald's. And then I was also in charge of finding, because I worked in the graphic department, so it was one room that kind of took care of Letterman and Saturday Night Live. And this is how long ago it was. There was no internet. So when you had a Weekend Update joke and you needed a picture of Snoopy kicking a football, you had to run out, either go to AP, the news place, and look through the files. Or in some cases, I would go, and I'm not proud of this, but I would go to the New York Public Library and I was just like, if I'm going to choose who's going to be angry with me, it's not going to be Saturday Night Live. It's not going to be Dave. It'll be the library. And then you would race back, and they would shoot the picture. Now here, I actually have something here that I can show you to illustrate that point. We'd make these art cards. Look right here. That's an art card from the first year of Saturday Night Live. So they would sit that on an easel, and when they said John Belushi and Dan Aykroyd, they would just cut the camera to this shot, this art card, this very one.
That is.
And that's how it was done. In the olden times.
In the old, before the internet, before when you went and stole things out of the library.
Yes.
That's how it
Library criminal, Spike Feresten.
Wow, I had no idea. That's really wild.
Yeah, so I mean, once I was there, I saw these guys writing, and I'd watched so much TV growing up, and just thought I feel like I'm qualified. I just had a feeling this is what I was supposed to be doing.
Yeah. Well, when you know, they say when you know, you know.
Yeah, yeah, and I hated writing. I was never really.
So then, why did you do the switch into the music side? I guess was this post music?
Okay, music comes out of high school. Music comes out of
I see.
a very simple mechanism that I think we'll all relate to, which is I was very little and I was very bullied. And when I picked up a guitar, the girls really liked me. And when the girls really liked me, the football players also decided to like me. And it became
funny how that works.
It became this this defense mechanism. And this is back in a time where you're in a small town, there's no internet. So you could be a mediocre guitar player and everybody's like, I'm in love with it. The girls were just intensely in love with this idiot. And it got out of control. So coming out of, to the point where at senior class, I was raffled off to the girls in the school. The raffle that raised money for a keg that was shut down by the police. It was a mess. It makes no sense to me, but it did at the time. So I thought, well, I'll just continue this by going to school in Boston. Because, of course, it'll be just like this in the big city. It was not. It was not at all. And
just because you had a guitar, that wasn't the way to the woman.
No, I wasn't prepared for competition. I was very insecure, and I just went. I just looked around and I went. I think I'm a little smarter than a lot of these musicians, and I'm not getting that vibe, and I don't think this is what I'm supposed to be doing. So
that shift happened when you knew that was kind of like entertainment writing, that the conversational broadcaster, the conversational commentary.
No, it was the silliness that Dave was doing. He was throwing light bulbs off of a roof and watching them explode, and I had been doing that in the dorms and getting kicked out. I gotta go there. They're paying him money to do what I just got kicked out of the dorms to do. So I saw a lot of my ridiculous personality in the shenanigans these guys were doing, and I thought this will be a great place to go and a great place to work.
And it was, obviously.
It was a dream come true, yeah. I mean, when I walked into 30 Rock, I was in awe. These are just people I had read about, and then I grew up watching Saturday Night Live, and there were the people. There's Franken and Davis, and I was just open mouth and yes sir, no sir.
And was there ever that shift that went from because I think I find this too, and as I've grown and continue to grow in my industry, that idea where you respect people for what they've accomplished, but they put their pants on the same way as you do. So where's that fine balance of respecting them in their craft, and that idea that it's always a respect, but then you realize that they're real people, and you're like, they don't jump into their pants with both legs. Like they still step in one leg after the other, just like I do. That
didn't come for a long time. I'll be honest with you. In New York, I was still pretty much open mouth constantly. Toward the end of Letterman. Yeah, toward the end of Letterman. Well, it was so exciting. I mean, again, you have to imagine a kid who really didn't have babysitters. He just had television. So, and at dinner in my house, my mom would serve dinner. It's a really small kitchen, and my dad would turn on the television set. We wouldn't talk. We would watch TV.
Fascinating.
So I look back now going, maybe psychologically, I was just trying to get in the TV to get my dad's attention. Yeah. And he was a big comedy fan, and maybe it all makes sense now, but it didn't at the time. But now, yeah, I see that. I see a lot of that. Sure, yeah. Everybody's just.
Everybody's what?
Everybody's just regular, they deal with a lot of more rejection than you'll ever know, but they're smart enough not to talk about it. And, they have, I consider it professional racing. They'll have gigantic victories and then burn and crash in a wall. It's all very public, and, that's the game, and not everybody can handle it, but it's.
That is the best analogy that I have ever heard as it relates to entertainment. And even like dating guys where they're not in the industry at all, and you're just you try to explain what it is that we do to a certain level, to a certain degree. But I think that angle of, it is like it's a big, massive race that's on public.
Yeah.
Not me, but people who are in the world in spotlight. So
it's a constant hustle.
What
right?
a great analogy. And you are going to crash and burn like the best turn one.
I crash and burn a lot, but whatever. The idea is to win some of the races, but not, it's 90% rejection, 90% failure. You just have to deal with it. Eventually, you're the only one it takes you out because you get so chewed up, but you really can't take it personally. You just have to, I sympathize when people lose their jobs and people, but people in entertainment lose their jobs every 3 months, and that's just the way it goes. So I have a little more armored. I don't get so terrified, but that's just that this is the path I've chosen, and I love it. I love being able to express myself creatively, and that's totally. I don't know what I would do without it.
Yeah, and someone just said, but that 10% is 100%, and that I'd say that is true. When you do get that one call where you're like, you've been kind of waiting for that one call, you've been saying like
from the rock star.
Exactly.
He knows.
And that idea, like so you made a good point, and I think this is an interesting thing that people forget about in our industry. We stand in the way of ourselves. So I went to Groundlings in LA in 2000.
They're great.
Yeah, well, it was great until it wasn't great for me, because I realized that like I was my own like worst enemy in the industry, right? Like on my final monologue, I remember I like started tearing up because I was like, I can't, like I just felt so much like I can't perform in that way, and that idea that like I came away from my Groundlings, my improv experience, which was yes and, always yes and, which is something that I learned in those kind of skilled communication side of improv, but also that it was me who was holding myself back from any kind of additional successes, whether it was my own, like I didn't want to put myself out there. I was afraid of what might come from that. Like, and it took me going through Groundlings and improv to get to that point of saying, okay, it's myself. Once I lower myself, or once I kind of can break through whatever that is, that barrier of what I'm doing now, you can accomplish so much more. That was a hard lesson for me, though.
Yeah. No, we're our own worst enemies. You know what I remember about you when we were shooting Car Matchmaker was your use of the phrase noted. You remember that? I loved it. You were the first woman I spoke to when I would say something, you'd go noted. And I went, wow. I've never heard a person where you're saying, hey, we're going to shoot the shot, we're going to do this. You would just go noted. Noted. And it was so satisfying to hear it that I use it now. I go noted. Copy that, and I'm channeling you from that moment, and it works really well. Like when I get notes from someone, I go noted. Noted. And you should see the people like, okay, like they thought I was going to fight it, but like, nope, I'm going to take it.
Copy that. Noted. All right.
Noted. Noted.
I'm so glad I'm here. I'm glad you appreciate that. I'm sure there's other people in my life that have greatly not at all appreciated it.
It's fantastic. What are you talking about? When you're talking to somebody and you're trying to tell them something, they go noted. That's like, not what usually happens. They usually go, fuck off. Get away from me. Will you stop criticizing me, please? Leave me alone. You went, noted.
I'm taking that one. I'm jotting that one down. Noted. Got it. Noted. No, but seriously, I forgot about that. No, that was really fun. I actually, and like I said, even at Meekums, people ask me all the time, did Tanner ever buy me those wheels? What car did you go with? People still on social media bring it up. Like people still.
Well, that's because the show is still airing around the world. I think currently right now in Iran, judging by the 100 Iranian fans I'm getting every week. But it still plays everywhere, including in Brazil, which is why you see people chime in from Brazil.
That's what I was going to ask you, if it was Brazil. For some reason, I sometimes get a flush of Brazil.
Right. Yeah. That's my third biggest market according to Instagram demos.
Really?
Yeah. And they all say, come to Brazil. Come to Brazil.
You're like, all right.
Please come to Brazil, Spike.
I do like the food. There's some pretty waterfalls down there.
Yes. I'll be there in 3 years. So. Noted, Benny. Not any time before.
I hope that it's before 3 years from now.
Yeah, but no, maybe now's a good time to shoot Car Matchmaker again, because it's just, well, there's two of us in a car, right? We put some plexi between.
All of a sudden, we're wearing the. I mean, there's a good concept there. Put some plexi.
Yeah. Maybe it's all convertibles. It's all convertibles.
Yeah, I do. I have laughed multiple times thinking about that. Even the other day, I was in Manhattan Beach, and we're going around some back road over by El Segundo, I think it was, or something over yonder over there. And I remember the first time I was on that road was with you in the
right.
Blaster, and I had no idea where we were at that time. I had no clue. But now every time I'm on that road, I think of you. I think of you.
Yeah.
Actually, I think every time I see a Boxster, I think of you. mean, I think of you a lot.
That was a good car for you. That was a really good car for you.
Yeah, well, you live and learn. I know someone asked earlier what I drive. I now have I have a Land Rover Discovery.
Oh, you do?
Yeah,
Okay.
that was a switch up, but I think I took some things from the show. I mean, I still think the Q5 is like, I will still have a Q5.
Wow, you remember all of the cars. The show was really just a guideline. So when we did the show, it was always about helping you, the buyer, but also buyers like you out there. That was really it. I mean,
That's an interesting point.
what I loved about the show was hearing you and the people who came on give their normal, just here's what I really think about what I'm driving. I thought that was lacking in the marketplace. You know, I can blather on about whatever, but I like to hear what the buyer thought about the car in their terms, in their simple ways, you know. Not torque. Who cares about torque? They just go, I don't know. I don't like the thingy up here. This the fatty, I don't know. It just feels too spaceshipy. I like all that stuff.
I do remember saying something like getting off the line at like a stoplight, and you were like at the stoplight. There was some conversation that it wasn't the torque. I could have just probably used something of that nature, but I was like, oh, it's fast off the line, and like you're like the stoplight.
Oh, that's right. That was good. I like that. But that's what people want. They want. You know, I just recorded a show with Doug DeMuro, and that's the compliment I gave him. I said, you really evaluate cars from the standpoint of what do they really like? You know, how much money am I going to spend on it? And, you know, what's it like to have it on a daily basis? And he kind of evaluates cars from that show's posting Wednesday, and he was great. We just started running through all these cars, and there's no regard for the money. It's just like, I hate it. I don't like this. That is a dumb amount of money. I would never spend it on a car. This is the most beautiful thing that never works. You know, that's what people want to hear, right? They don't want to be lied to. They want to hear real feedback.
Okay, what is the most, okay, it's hard because everyone's checkbook is different, right? Or everyone's pocketbook, whatever it is. Everyone's accounts are different. But what would you say is the number one car for somebody who doesn't want to be, I'm asking for a friend, actually. This is true. They don't want to spend a lot of money because they're really money conscious, they're frugal, but they need to update their car, and they want something like what would you say is the number one go-to car to find somebody like a good car, quality car, decent performance, reasonable?
Well, I can tell you Acura is the brand for people who don't care about cars. Which sounds like your friend.
I do love
Yes, get an Acura. Acura what? You don't care. Just get any Acura. You're going to be fine.
I like the little TSX. I mean, a little Honda love in the.
That really is that's really what you hear about them from marketing people. The people who don't care about cars buy Acura. But yeah, I think they're great NSXs. I like Hondas. I mean, I don't know. That doesn't seem so exciting. She's gonna, you know, I don't know. I really don't know on that one. Yeah, I need more information.
I know. Okay, that was a really bad. That would be one on the car matchmaker. I guess you'd have to dig a little.
Well, what is she like? You tell me what she's like. How old is she? Does she have a family?
It's a he these days, and
okay.
He's thinking he wants something newer and updated, but he doesn't want to spend a lot of money because it's not really showy, and you know it's one of those reasonable, but like I don't know, it's hard.
And what is he driving right now?
A RAV4, so it has.
I was gonna say that. I was gonna say he's a RAV4 guy. Yeah.
That's why you're the car matchmaker, Spike.
It's funny, that's come up like 6 times, and it's usually the wife or girlfriend, and they go RAV4 like that. Like, can you please extract him from this? It ain't cool, and he's not gonna get laid if he keeps driving it. I'm like, all right. But you know, weirdly, we've been walking around the neighborhood to exercise, and I've been riding bikes with the kids, and I've seen the new RAV4, and I kind of like it. I've seen a couple of them with the black wheels out. I thought it was really cool.
You know what I saw the other day that I was kind of like, there was a part of me that didn't want to like it because I saw it before it came out, was a Blazer. The new Blazer. I saw one that was white. The black package on it was so fantastic with the red. It did actually look pretty good.
Yeah, yeah. And I like the new Honda Accord too. I think it's a good look. I mean, I haven't done a deep dive on any of this stuff, but just going from the exterior aesthetic, you know, I was surprised. I couldn't believe I saw the phrase RAV4 on the back of something I liked, but I thought, you know, that's not a bad little truck.
Don't judge a book by its cover.
Yeah.
I mean, right? I suppose moral.
Prius. Smith? No.
And it wasn't a Pinto either. Although Smith 88 Mitch, my mom had a Pinto, and she's super proud that was her first car. And now at Mecum Auctions, every time I find a Pinto, I send photos of them. So
That's cool. I've been wanting to get a Pinto too.
Is
I
there
really,
anything else, yeah, you want to get besides a Pinto?
yeah, I mean, I have a lot of what, I've kind of dreamed about, I guess. I kind of now like cars that remind me of home, like old American
Really?
cars, like Chevy Novas, like a
Mm-hmm.
Pinto, a Gran Torino would be fun.
Yeah.
Big, silly boats with a good
Yes.
music system. I want a car like that in my collection that takes me back to being a kid and bonfires and drinking beer in the woods.
Yeah.
So,
See,
and that's
that's what
American.
it's all about. There's always a
Yeah.
story associated with it.
Yeah. Gladiator. No, I'm not going to do the Gladiator. I know I
Yeah,
talked about it,
I
but
did see one yesterday, and I thought to myself, and I like Jeeps and all that jazz, but it looked so beefy. It just looked like a.
right. John Hennessy has the Maximus Gladiator. I would do that. Something
Really?
really, yeah. It just the
If you're gonna do
Gladiator.
it, do it.
What's that?
If you're gonna do it,
Yeah, if you're going to do it with 1,000 horsepower
yeah,
and really be reckless. And
yeah.
I love Hennessy stuff, and so if I did the Gladiator, I would do that one.
Okay, so a couple of those other Nova, something cool. I saw a Volkswagen theme yesterday that I thought to myself, I could do a Volkswagen theme.
Yeah,
I like the little funky, kind of quirky,
they're great.
like little classics in that way.
Yeah. No, this could be a good time to buy cars soon. I mean,
I'm gonna follow your advice in that one.
keep looking. Volkswagen things are very Porsche. You're in my neck of the woods with the Porsches and the Volkswagens. I love old Volkswagen Beetles. I have one.
Well, isn't it true that they're gonna they stopped producing them?
They did, yes, because the last one I think was a Mexican Beetle. They were making them down in Mexico.
So are you gonna hold on to that guy?
Well, I have a '79 police Beetle, like a German police car. But I've driven some of the early ones from the 60s, and they're actually more solid than my car, and I've been thinking about those, and they're always really inexpensive. And what I like about them, when someone asks, if I can't afford a Porsche 356 or an old 911, I push them in that direction because it's a rear-engined, air-cooled German car, and you can work on it, and you can get a lot of the experience of a 356 in that little Volkswagen Beetle. Big, community of people who are into them, parts are available.
Yeah.
I think they're great. You just don't want to crash in them.
That's a fair point. That's fair. Actually, you know what I learned from you too was that what I didn't realize at that time in my life that we were shooting Car Matchmaker is I had been in the industry long enough to understand a little of what it was all about, but I hadn't really taken a very deep dive into what automotive and motorsport, I guess motorsport I was, but automotive was all about. And what I learned from you in that was the clubs that go along with the particular, the loyalty that is backed by so many of these manufacturers and these companies that,
right.
I mean, there's so much loyalty, and that to me is pretty cool. And I learned that with the Porsche, that one lady when we looked over at the light, and I remember you saying, that was a noted moment that I was like, oh.
Yeah, you're doing it right. When someone pulls up next to you, goes, cool car. I was driving the Zagato through Brentwood the other day, and some guy went, Spike, Zagato! And I was like, do I know them? And I didn't stop because I was like, I don't think I recognize the guy. It wasn't, but, that's obviously someone loved that car, saw it on the internet, and recognized it. Yeah. And then you'll just see people, pull up next to you and go, hey, here's what I had, or here's what my dad had, and I love this. And, I don't know. I love when I see a beautiful old car on the road. I love talking to people about their cars. And if you look around, I probably mention this a lot, all you see is black, white, silver, and gray things out in the road. Yeah. And then here comes this stupid German police car with a siren and the Telefunken radio, and people laugh. And we're having a good time. What's the harm?
That's what it should be about. Okay, is there anything project-wise that you think that you're hoping to? I mean, you kind of accomplished so very much, obviously, as someone who follows your career and what you do, and I think it's awesome, and I love your story of how you got involved. But what else are you thinking you want to do? Because you obviously have rock and rolled throughout your entire career.
Well, I'm putting all my efforts into the company right now, into creating, as I kind of age out of the on-camera world, I will age into the studio world and production company world.
Is there anybody from that you want? I mean, is there any younger, if you want to say guy, if you're feeling you're aging out, which I don't think you would. I mean, I don't know what that means for you. Is there any guy you're mentoring to kind of be like, I want you to be the next Spike?
Oh no. I don't think anybody would want to be the next Spike. Maybe my kids do, but they'll outgrow that pretty quickly. No,
trying to
I
decide.
like going in, like when I get together with John, my partner, I just like every day being able to throw these ideas out of my head going, hey, what if we do something like this? Do we think we can sell that right now?
Yeah.
And again, and I've been, because of the virus thing, writing a solitary,
Yeah.
occupation. I'm into that right now. I'm into just, getting a script going and selling it. I can pitch right over there on Zoom and then write it up. And I've got a 3-month leeway, and hopefully we have, cameras rolling again in September.
And
Optimistically,
that is the goal,
I think
optimistically.
that's where we are. But that's just a guess. But that's the chatter I hear.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna, come down to a release form, not unlike you sign when you jump out of an airplane. Like
Right.
when you step onto our set,
We're gonna take your temperature.
and you might die, but Tom Hanks is over there. And then, it's going to take a little bit of work and a lot of testing. I don't know. I'm always an optimistic person. I see us all getting through this, and we got to fill up that Netflix roster. Otherwise, we're going to have nothing to watch. Are you watching My Brilliant Friend, by the way, on HBO? Are you watching My Brilliant Friend?
Okay.
This is a perfect show for you.
Watching, so I'm glad to know My Brilliant Friend is one of them.
My Brilliant Friend, you're going to love, because you're going to love, I think it's written mostly for women, but it's also written for people who like Fiats and small Italian cars. So that's for the husband. You cover both those bases yourself. So I don't know how you will not freak out after you watch HBO's My Brilliant Friend.
Oh, I'll let you know how it goes. Because,
all right. Just pay close attention to the gangsters getting out of little Fiats. Like there'll be 5 guys getting out of a tiny car to go beat on someone, and it's so charming and so wonderful. It's like such a nice Italian meal.
You know what? I've always wanted to be Italian. I will never be Italian,
no.
But I've always wanted to. So
yes.
like, there's that might really resonate with me.
Here's your chance.
Okay, so Instagram will kick us off before. Is there any food you say that with the cooking? I know your wife has been cooking too. Is there any like quarantine food that like you're now like your breakfast that you say you cook? Is there anything that you're super proud of?
Oh God, I can't. When you say food, I do not feel pride right now.
No, that's not the first.
I feel. I think what a lot of people feel, which is, I want to try and wake up today and not eat 2 boxes of Fruit Loops because of anxiety.
So Fruit Loops are that's your vice. Good to know.
Oh, it's crazy. No, it's way beyond that. I've been, I was getting ice cream from Cincinnati, and then I get the food for the kids. And like today, I woke up, I ate oatmeal, I went and did a podcast, I've done a little writing, I worked out right before, I have a little exercise bike over there. I'm doing okay right now. Then I had a protein bar, but come around 8 o'clock, if I catch even Rachel Maddow out of the side of my eye like that, then suddenly I've got my face in ice cream until I pass out on the floor like that. That's
what I find with the food. Like I've always said, I want to host a food show of some sort. I'm learning how to cook and understanding it. And the problem is if I watch anything that has to do with food, not Rachel Maddow, but if I watch anything with food, I just eat. I do too. I eat the whole time, and I'm like, I'm gonna like. Yes. They're talking about ice or cream. I'm like, I'm gonna definitely join in with the ice cream or something. Like I can't help it.
Yeah, I'm trying not to eat my feelings right now with the rest of America, and I think I'm fine.
Cheers to that. We're all in that together.
We're in the what? We're 8 weeks in. Is it 7? I think I'm finally. Today, Monday. With a little luck, I'll have 24 hours without eating like a pig.
Well, cheers to that. I think we all have a COVID-19, 19 pounds one way or the other.
Yes.
Freshman 15. We have COVID-19. So
the COVID-19. That's good.
What's your thinking?
Noted. I love that. I'm going to take that joke. The COVID-19. That's good. You're good.
It's all yours. You can claim it. In your workout, are you doing any free weights? Is it?
Nope. I made my own spin bike. I didn't like the Peloton bike, so I put all the money into the Schwinn bike, and then I got the screen and I got the apps for Peloton and a couple other spin companies, and I'm trying to sample the classes. I'm a soul cycler, so I'm used to a kind of different level of spinning than Peloton offers, but I do that. I do weights. We have an exercise ball. My wife and I rotate through the exercise, and it feels okay.
Yeah. You feel like you're doing something?
What?
So you feel like you're doing something?
It's not the exercising, it's the food. We exercise to stay fit, we eat to we stop eating to lose weight, and that's the part I'm having trouble with. I'm very fit and very fat at the same time.
Well, it's all we can do is just hope that we can that we can get through that. So before this shuts us off, a big thanks to everyone too for joining us, but more thanks to those who are out and about in the front lines. I know we said that at the beginning, but we joke about COVID-19 from a weight standpoint, but of course, in no way, shape, or form, yeah.
The COVID-19. That's hilarious.
No credit is needed. No credit is needed.
Someone just said I'm tan from the fridge light. Good. That's very good, sir.
That's also
Thank you.
good too.
And it is weird seeing me without glasses. Yes, so what?
That's what I said at the beginning. Your face looks so smooth. What have you been doing?
This?
Like, yeah, your face
this
looks
is
so,
a sunburn.
like,
I was just out I stupidly didn't put on the sunblock in a convertible, so my face is burned. So it's just like, whatever.
A little extra vitamin D in there.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.